So they don't create any kind of boundaries, okay, this I can do or this I can't do. The last 2 years we organized more than 10,000 people have arrived to our event, International Yoga Day event in St. Petersburg. In Moscow, they're also making such a major, huge event. More than 10 to 20,000 people are joining in single day event. Hinduism, Krishnaism or Shivaism, there are different sects also there. We're going to help more to connect the friendship between India and Russia. Like B.K. Sanger, he came himself in the last period of the Soviet time when the Russia became Russia country after USSR, and he created lots of anger yoga shala, and still those yoga shalas are active, working in different cities in Russia.
So seasons are the reasons for this.
Yes, so it's create a big impact in the body, because body take time to develop, to balance those less dark nights and more light days. It's hard for them. Even they're born there. Dochka means the daughter. So Russian language is the daughter of Sanskrit language. That yoga have very, very high power to create not just peace between two nations, but creating a peace in the whole world. I've known that the previous president of Russia, Mr. Medvedev, he was practicing yoga, and because I have few friends who was living in Moscow, they've been travel to the president home and teach yoga there. But Mr. Putin, he is very dedicated person, very disciplined. So he have a nature of a yogi, I can say that. He have a nature of a yogi.
India and Russia share a civilizational bond that extends far beyond diplomacy or geopolitics. It is a relationship shaped by culture, philosophy, and shared human values. In recent years, yoga has emerged as one of the most powerful bridges connecting the people of the two nations, strengthening cultural understanding at a grassroots level. At the heart of this cultural exchange in Russia is Vishnu Sharan Shukla ji, a respected yoga scholar, teacher, and cultural practitioner who has been instrumental in establishing authentic Indian yoga traditions across the country. Born in Prayagraj and deeply trained in traditional Indian disciplines, he is the founder of Yoga Museum Samskar, which is situated in Russia's St. Petersburg. He has also worked closely with the Consulate General of India in St. Petersburg, serving as a yoga teacher and playing a key role in organizing International Yoga Day celebrations since 2017. Today in our podcast, we speak with Vishnu Sharan Shukla ji on yoga as a powerful instrument of cultural diplomacy, the importance of authenticity in practice, and why ancient Indian wisdom continues to find deep resonance in modern Russia. Welcome, Vishnuji.
Thank you very much.
India and Russia share a long standing civilizational and strategical relationship. So, how does yoga help strengthen people to people ties between the two countries?
It's a very good question. Actually, since the starting of the International Day of Yoga, Russia has also organized by their own resources lots of different events of yoga and Indian culture event, and also the Indian embassy was given big contribution to make sure that our soft power yoga and culture values must go to every part of Russia. And it's been like more than 10 years, the growth of the respect and love for the Indian culture has been increased in Russia. And I travel a lot inside Russia, different places, not just I live in one city. And wherever I go, I find people see more interest what the yoga is, what is Indian culture, festivals, and the dances, and a lot of other activities which they can learn more about India in Russia.
How effective has yoga been as an instrument of India's cultural diplomacy and soft power? Like what you
Yeah,
said.
yeah. I think it's taken a good path for the Indian diplomacy in Russia. There are very few items that India export to Russia. If you see spices and rice, that's it. And what other values which Russia value about India is about the culture, because yoga is not about exercises, it's not about just sitting and closing eyes, it's giving a way of a healthy lifestyle. So what Russia like think about their citizen is good body health, mental health, and spiritual health, and that's yoga provides. And Russian ministries, health ministries, they know about these things, and they also work with the Indian foreign affairs ministries and embassies and culture institutions to promote more yoga, and they always take a big part in this. I think yoga is connecting a lot of such regions of Russia which are far away from the big cities, and they feel kind of how to say, like a mystical connection with India by living even far northern places or far eastern places in Russia, and they find connected with yoga by keeping themselves less stressed or anxiety, because when you're living in a far away from the big town, you feel stress, you feel anxiety because you are disconnected from the
Exactly.
other part of the world. So yoga helps a lot those people, because I travel there, and they told me that we it bring us more to connect with the nature, with people, and be a calm people during those long winter days.
Okay, as you spoke about the Russian ministry and all, so can you evaluate, can you elaborate, like what kind of a response they are for to the yoga and all? Are they promoting it, and are they attracted to our culture also? Like, do they like to imitate the culture of ours, like something like that?
We have seen that they are interested, especially when it's come to some major yoga event, as I told before, International Day of Yoga. There is no such thing that they don't want to make such event in some cities. Another way around, they like to ask us, can we make in those cities, or not even the big cities, like there are big cities and there's regions, like small towns, and they also have the task to make some culture event. And if this culture event coming from not the local but even the foreigner culture event, for them this is like a VIP culture event. So for them, making such things like yoga or Indian culture event, like dancing event or some kind of different event, for them is like a big respected event. So lots of people like to join those event, to participate those one. So I think ministry of like in Russian ministries, they are into those, especially if you see big cities like Moscow regions and St. Petersburg regions, they are more into that. And also many big cities in Ural region, they are participate. They like to make even the Vladivostok region, they are doing those things. And of course, I would like to give a big thanks to our Indian consulates, which are located in different regions inside Russia. They are very much active to work with their Russian counterparts to make such events more often.
That's good. So you have traveled abroad, everywhere you have traveled, you have been preaching and practicing yoga and all. So if I ask you which country is more welcoming in yoga, what would be your answer?
Of course, Russia.
Why?
I think I'm traveling a lot. Actually, I will travel a lot of different European countries mostly. There is a kind of, how to say, like boundaries. People make a certain boundaries. Like I can accept till that boundary, But when you come to Russia, there is no boundaries actually.
Boundary in the sense?
Boundary in the sense like, okay, I can do some poses, but sorry, I can't chant Om mantra
Okay.
because it's not according to me good for my religion or something like that. So people
Related to
sometimes
faith.
avoid, yeah, sometimes avoid, especially in Europe. They maybe just be silence, or maybe they not like to join mantra practices, or some different part of the practice of yoga. There are different aspect of yoga. There is not only the asanas. But when I see Russian students, they have no doubts. They are very much deep to learn, and they don't see any boundaries. They don't create any boundaries. So if I teach somebody yoga in India, any person, how they will accept the yogic practices the same way a Russian student accept the yogic practices. So they don't create any kind of boundaries. Okay, this I can do, or this I can't do. So this part, that's what I like about Russia, about especially my Russian students. They are more dedicated, more motivated, and they see a sense of the growth, not the physical, spiritual, and even the mystical energies inside them.
That's good. So, Vishnuji, you have worked closely with the Consulate General of India in St. Petersburg and has been organizing the International Yoga Day since 2017.
Yeah.
So, how has the institutional support from India helped expand yoga's reach in Russia?
I was arrived in Russia in 2015, the first time, and I was very lucky to participate in the first International Yoga Day in Russia. And that year, lots of interesting people from India came to participate and give their lessons, master classes, lectures. After those years, we tried to make organize. And 2016, 17, I started to become more dedicated on those events. And since 2017, we try to make this event more major and more major, like organizing in a more open space, public parks. Try to engage more number of people every year. So if I can say, like last 2 years, we organized more than 10,000 people have arrived to our event, International Yoga Day event in St. Petersburg. In Moscow, they're also making such a major, huge event. More than 10 to 20,000 people are joining in single day event. It's very huge actually, because when we talk in India, 10,000, 20,000 is not much, but in Russia, it's a big number of people, especially doing a one day event. Collecting such big number of people is very huge thing, and its impact not just a day. Actually, people when they come, they see not just yoga practices, they also enjoy the different various activities, culture event, Indian dancings, Indian food, and lot of different things. So it's create a impression in their mind how India is beautiful, how India is colorful, how they friendly they are. So it's creating a one day event is like impact for whole year. And every year we try to make more major event, more big event, more interesting activities in those festivals, making to participate more other people. And there are actually many organizations in those cities who are also dedicated into
Russians
the,
with Russians itself.
yeah, even the Russians, yeah, even the Russians, they have their own organizations of like Krishna consciousness organizations. And also there are many different organizations who are into the Hinduism or Krishnaism or Shivaism. There are different sects also there, very active in, and we like to invite them all. So it's like a big community gathering on those events, especially the yoga day event. And they all have their own space. They're also making some event there. They're also contributing to those festivals. So every year we are growing more and more. So I think it's we're going to help more to connect the friendship between India and Russia.
Okay. How do Russians view yoga today? Is it that they mainly view as a physical exercise for a body fitness, which they would prefer? Or is it like also as a spiritual and philosophical system from India? How do they view?
I think it's mixed thoughts in yoga in Russia. Of course, most number of people, they're more into the physical practice because that's what they understand on a first glance. How they see, what they know about yoga is more like exercises or breathing exercises or meditation. But there's a big number of people like who more interested, not only the physical aspect of yoga but more into the spiritual aspect, especially those people who are practicing yoga for a long time, or people, because in Russia people are very intelligent. Actually, they love to read. There was a article I was reading that a few days ago, that in the whole world, India and Russia, there are two people like who love to read still the newspapers, because nowadays everybody
Still
is
doing.
in a digital format. But these two country people still love to read newspaper and books, and that's why Russian people, they love to read. They love, even they maybe not into deep into those philosophy, but they love to know what it is. They love to read Bhagavad Gita, Yoga Sutra, Patanjali. There are a number of people like who are just interested to know the philosophy. Maybe they're not into like to give their whole life to to that philosophy, but they're interested to learn what it is. And I think in Russia, people are divided in a way that they are also into physical aspects of yoga, and also the other aspect which can yoga can give, like pranayama, meditations, philosophy, like those other aspects. Yeah.
So let us talk about the West and the yoga. What difficulties do you face in preserving its original philosophy and spirituality?
Well, when I work with the Russian students, it's not a big issue because they are very open-minded people. But yeah, their expectations are first of all their physical attributes, like how they feel comfortable. Well, I mean, there are 90% people who comes to yoga with a problem in their body or mind. Maybe they have bad back or spine, or they have some injuries which they want to recover through yoga. So there's this they are the first people who comes to yoga. Actually, I'm too active person, or I have so many anxiety, I should do something breathing and so I can relax. So those people comes first in yoga, of course, and they have expectations that yoga can help those problems, and we try to do that. So they are one good thing about Western style of yoga is that they use the knowledge of modern science, anatomy of the body, and how the movement work, and how the in these things activate together. So yoga therapy is like one of the very famous aspects, especially like the anger style of yoga is very famous in Russia. Like BK Sanger, he came himself in the last period of the Soviet time when the Russia became Russia country after USSR, and he created a lots of anger yoga shala, and those anger yoga shala was dedicated basically to help people who have difficulties in their body. And still those yoga shalas are active, working in different cities in Russia and helping people. And people are, instead of going to doctors, they like to go to yoga shalas to make their spine straight, like, and to get away from the anxiety as well.
So were you able to handle those kind of anxieties and all?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially when you live in the northern cities, like when you don't see the sun for the very long time. Like we have like 3 months, 4 months in Saint Petersburg where I live. We have only, how to say, like 6 hour daytime. So 6 hour daytime, and all rest hours is just dark. So when you're waking up in 8 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning, you're seeing the dark till 11 a.m. It's just dark. So people are, after being in such hours, you feel like no energies, because no sun, no energy.
So this is a major anxiety that they are
Yes,
having.
yes, it's major anxiety.
Okay.
And in the summer is just opposite. So there's no nights, only day. So till 12 o'clock is a good sunny light, and just for 3 hours is a little bit less light.
So seasons are the reasons for this.
Yes. So it's create a big impact in the body, because body take time to develop, to balance those less uh, dark nights and more light days. It's hard for them. Even they're living, they're born there, and they ask me how you adopt in those days. I just say I just breathe, inhale and exhale. I
That's the
just forget
simplest
about
form.
everything. Sanskrit is a very ancient language. My father, he was a professor in Bharat Hindu University, and I had this privilege, like from since childhood, to learn uh, this ancient language, especially the son of Vyakarana Shastra. Um, so when I had this opportunity to work with Mr. Boris Grimchikov, he is actually a very famous Russian rock star, even during the Soviet time. And then he developed his interest in Buddhism and Hinduism, and slowly he get more interest in Bhagavad Gita, and then he decided to write the book, and I had this opportunity to review that book, so everything go through at is it. Because he's a poet, he's a singer, he's a poet, and he translated the book in his own way of understanding each shloka in Bhagavad Gita. So my main job was, so the meaning, the essence of the sloka stay there, even translating in Russian language. Yeah, and actually, the good thing is about the Russian language is very close to Sanskrit language. We call it that dochka. Dochka means the daughter. So Russian language is the daughter of Sanskrit language, and there's many words in Russian language which is very similar to the Sanskrit. Like, for example, if we count the numbers in Russian language, it's like ras, dva, tri, chiteri, pyat, shest. It's like just like Sanskrit, ekam, dva, trini, chatvari, panch, shasht. It's very similar. Even the numbers, the most basic things. Brothers, how we call in Sanskrit,
What can be
bhrata.
the reason for that? Any ancient
I think there is a big root. Even if you read about in Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, when we read about a lot of different regions out of Indian Bharatavarsha, if we go for the whole Jambu region, we was just talking about yesterday with a very intelligent person about that, how this it was Uttar Kshetra, the Russia, and how many different regions there was told in Mahabharata, and some kings even participated uh, in the Mahabharata time to that great war between Pandava and Kaurava. So I think there is a very ancient root between India and Russia, and people in Russia, they believe this thing, and they have their own own theory of Aryas. Actually, they think that we are the Aryas who came to India. Some of my friends, they believe in this thing, and I say doesn't matter. What matters is today, like, you respect, you love to learn those things which we value in India. That's a good thing, that's the best thing. So that's the reason when I moved to Russia, I had this dream to make this culture action more valuable, uh, more like a good base. That's why I opened last year Museum of Yoga for that reason. So the more people can know about the history, the historical aspect of the yoga, and the connection between India and Russia, more grounded.
okay. You have a background in astrophysics and yoga research. How open are Russian academics to studying yoga scientifically?
Like in America, in European countries, of course, they are doing much more into the yoga research. In Russia, they've been working previously in during the USSR. They were doing a lot of research. Even the great yogi from India. He came to Russia to teach yoga to astronauts. Dhiren Brahmachari is well known yogi who was first person like who came to television to teach yoga. He came to Russia to teach yoga there, and they was doing research about how the Sukshivayama, the simple practices, how it can be beneficial for the astronauts, which they call actually cosmonaut. In Russian language they call it cosmonaut. How it can be very useful for them to do some physical exercises, because in open space is a big truth that if you don't do certain physical exercises, your bone density going to be less and less, and this way when you come back to the earth, your bone will break like glass. And in during those USSR time, so they started research about yoga, how yogic practices are good for the cosmonaut, the astronauts. And those days it was very active actually. So after finish of the USSR and when Russia became the country Russia, it stopped for a while, but now it started again. Even I have known many good yoga teachers who also not just yoga teachers, they have a good scientific background, they are researchers, and they're also yoga teachers as well, and they're doing a lot of research by themselves. They have their own institute, they have their own laboratories where they collect a lot of different samples of breathing exercises, different people who are doing good breathing exercises, and even they're doing some pilot projects on for certain diseases like people who have asthma or different problems, same like in India how we are making here. But in a big institute level, it's not much done yet in Russia. I think in near future it will start.
Vishnuji, you know that now it's a tense global environment here. We have a war happening. Many wars are looming also. So, according to you, can yoga help promote peace, mental balance, and dialogue between two countries?
Of course, the first step is individual union. When we read about yogic philosophy, we the first thing is called yama and niyama. Yama and niyama are the moral values: ahimsa, satya, aste, aparigraha, brahmacharya. So these practices, if each individual can take even a very small step on those practices, the whole society change actually. But of course, if the national leaders, if they practice even in a very small scale, it's change the whole mentality of the nation. So that's we always talk about how our Indian Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, is practicing the yogic values and yogic practices. That's the reason how this country is growing in all way, in all the scales, in economically, in culturally, in all the ways. I'm very sure that if you talk about India, Russia, and Ukraine issue, or Russia or America issue, is a very complicated political thing, and nobody knows what is happening there. But I'm very sure, like people who are working to create a peace diplomacy between these two nations and three nations, they are very yogic people. They are very peaceful. They have very calm nature, and they are dedicated to do the peace deal. And I hope in near future it will comes. But I think in my thought that yoga have very high power to create not just peace between two nations, but creating a peace in the whole world. All what we need to take a just a small step. I've known that the previous president of Russia, Mr. Medvedev, he was practicing yoga, and because I have few friends who was living in Moscow, so they've been travel to the president home and teach yoga there. But Mr. Putin, he is very dedicated person, very disciplined. So he have a nature of yogi. I can say that he have a nature of a yogi. He love yoga. He have no issues on yoga, and he thinks that yoga is good thing for his country. That's why everything is growing about yoga in Russia very comfortably. Well, I can say the Banaras Hindu University is one of the best university in the whole world, not in India only, because it's have certain values, like it's give you the knowledge of whole world, like any field of knowledge you want, science, fictionals, uh, mythology or non-mythology, Vedic or non-Vedic, all kind of knowledge you want in the world, you can come to Banaras Hindu University, you can get everything. The most important thing is give you the value of life, which I find that the whole city Varanasi is your teacher. That's why in Varanasi we call each other as master, guru. It's like common language, or like saying greetings to each other, guru or master. So the university gave me this like space or atmosphere to learn those values, to finding a teacher in every person. And actually it's very good thing when a person knew that he is not enough and he must learn more and more. And when he see that every person, next person who's he's meeting or her meeting, it can be something to learn and something new to learn. That's the main value which I learned from Varanasi, and I think that's helped me a lot in while traveling in Russia and living in Russia, other countries as well. Yeah,
Do you see Russian youth developing deeper interest in? You told that they have a deep interest in yoga,
yeah.
but do they have a deeper interest in learning Indian culture, philosophy, and Sanskrit through yoga?
Well, yoga is like a medium to connect all those things. But of course, in a parallel way, the culture and the language, they are coming to Russia slowly. There was time when there was lots of courses on Hindi language was happening inside Russia. Nowadays, it's not much, but they are renewing those programs where people can learn Hindi language in Russian universities. So those things are happening, and I know those people like who are teaching, who are Russian people who are teaching Hindi language in the universities in Russia. So yeah, the values of culture is growing in Russia. Yoga, of course, is growing. Indian classical dances styles, they are growing. Lots of new people like to, even those television events when like India Got Talent, like such thing also happen in Russia also. The Russia Got Talent or some different dance events. Lots of new dancers who coming to those talent shows, they are performing in Indian dancing style, especially in a Bollywood style or classical style. So these things are, like they are like small seeds which are popping from different parts, and but they're coming in front of people very faster. So I think these things are make to grow more and more. So more people are like who not know, they're like the teenagers, they don't know about India, what is the relation between Russia and India. So those newcomers, like who the teenagers, like new generations, they're learning through this medium about these two nation and their connection, their interest, and especially the Indian culture. So I think that things are working good.
You had trained at Svyasa,
Asvyasa.
Svyasa in Bengaluru, right?
Yeah.
So, how important do you think that a structured Indian training can create a credible yoga teachers globally?
Yeah, I think it's very important that India should be a benchmark for yoga teachers for future, because India always taken a step back, that okay, yoga is from India, but not only India should hold yoga, but everywhere in the world. And it's helped actually a lot, because it's helped a lot of different countries who are like closed into yoga. They created their own space for yoga, their own style of yoga, but it's created a confusion, because there are lots of different people, like they using in the name of yoga different things, which is not yoga at all. So I think India should create like we have in India this Ayush ministry, where Ayurveda, yoga, and different alternate medicines are they have their own departments. But I think India should take a step ahead, that to create a proper certification system. Like when we were studying in Svyasa, we are studied in a very disciplined manner. From early morning till late evening, we are just learning and practicing every day. But I see the lots of different institutes or centers in India. They're not doing that much hard work, and they're just giving certificates in the name of dollars. So there's only certificate selling, and there's not knowledge giving. So I think it will be best. It will be very good if Indian government can make a special a body of certificate system, which create good certificate, good teachers, and those teachers we can trust to learn more and more, which are the face of yoga. We are working in our own way. We are trying to make the world more beautiful and more creative. So let's keep doing it. And yoga is a path which can create much openness, peacefulness in the whole world. And doesn't matter what happening today, tomorrow going to be better. The Museum of Yoga, which I opened last year, actually in the whole world, yoga is very popular. We all know this thing is very known thing. But the funny part is there's no big museum of yoga in the world. There's only one museum of yoga. It is in Mumbai, in Yoga Institute. It's a very small museum, just room size. And last year, 2025 January, we opened the second museum of yoga in St. Petersburg, Russia. And I can say it's the biggest museum of yoga. It's very, very big. It's just big as your studio. We divide in different parts, and we told about the history of yoga from a different period of time. And since 1 year, we have invited more than 5,000 people to come and visit our museum. And those people are not people like who was practicing yoga before. Most of them was they never known yoga or never practiced yoga. So those people had chance to learn about yoga and what is yoga is all about. Because as I told, like people have this image of yoga is just body poses. But what about the history? So I tried myself, and we had this vision to create more bigger museum of yoga in Russia as well, and maybe in India, in Delhi. Why not?
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Namaste.
Namaste.